Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to cover that all-important topic, how to find a job in medical coding. Every week I'm getting emails and direct messages from coders, new and old, about how to find a job in medical coding, especially the new coders, because it's hard once you've got your certification to get that first job. So one of the first things I want to address is, how did we get to this point in the first place where we have so many coders that can't find a job? You know, this is a common struggle to any industry. There's plenty of people with all different types of degrees that will tell you that they're having trouble finding their first job. So there's two big reasons why we have this problem. Number one is we have these scammy overnight, become a medical coder, work from home, all your wildest dreams are going to come through, awesome super mega academies that come out, and they just want to take your money and they prey on these people and go, oh yeah, you can become a medical coder, it's so super easy, we'll just tell you how to pass the exam. And then people pass the exam and they don't know what the heck to do next. So we've overloaded the industry with medical coders. While yes, medical coding is a very high demand industry, it's oftentimes very in high demand for experienced coders, those coders with 2 or more years of experience. So the second point is, now employers are a little bit more cautious about hiring inexperienced coders because they want to make sure they have practical coding knowledge, because they don't want to throw people in, start coding surgeries, and then find out maybe they were really good at passing the exam, but don't have the actual practical coding knowledge, and are going to start maybe coding things wrong or not knowing those insurance policies, and that's a liability for them. But some of these big organizations, these hospitals and stuff, I think aren't really organizing or structuring their coding departments correctly. So they're not tiering things appropriately to allow for inexperienced coders to start getting their feet wet and get that experience. So for example, it used to be that you could kind of start into the coding industry by getting into like charge entry, but now most providers are dropping their own charges, so those positions are kind of going by the wayside. But there's a lot of ways that organizations, I think, could make better use of their newbie coders to get them up to that level of expertise that they need to. If we just are only hiring experienced coders and not building up the newbie coder population that we have, that's not good either, because people will retire and we won't have anyone to replace them with. So it's really important for some of these organizations to look at the tasks that they have some of their coders do that maybe they could have more entry-level people doing. Things like looking at coding edits. So if you have edits in your system that you just need someone to look at it and go, put on a 25 modifier, check the diagnoses, those are things that your newbie apprentice coder should be doing, because it gets them familiar with how those coding edits and how those kind of coding guidelines look, and it starts getting them familiar with looking at the CPT codes that are coming in and what diagnoses are being used, so they get more familiar with those sort of services. So it's a two-pronged problem. We have places just pumping out coders because they're like, oh yeah, they're in high demand and you can work from home, just give us $2,000 and we'll make you a medical coder. And then you have these organizations that don't really know how to properly implement new coders. But regardless of how we got here, now we have medical coders that need to know how they can find a job, because they invested time, whether it was a boot camp or a 9-month program, you want to find a job. So I'm going to give you some of my tips, and some of this I've actually already covered in my blog, and I'll link that below because I made a really cool infographic that's just short and sweet and easy to reference. And also, you have to check out Alpha Coding Podcast, because there is an episode that I was featured in where I did an interview with Tony Elholmes, and we went over a lot of it. So that was called the Pro Tips for Navigating the Coding Profession, and I will link that below as well. So the first thing is to get your foot in the door. I did not start out as a coder. I get that when you become a medical coder, you want to get a coding job, but you can't always just go from zero to coding surgeries. Sometimes you have to just build your way up. I started out doing charge entry, which was basically data entry, but with CPTs and ICD-10 codes. Actually, it was ICD-9 back then. So just posting stuff from super bills. I had a super bill over here on one monitor and the practice management system over here, and I just plugged them in all day long. But it got me familiar with the codes and how often certain codes were used and what codes they used together and why. The other thing I can tell you is, a lot of these organizations, they're shortening the time that you can move up. Some of them I've even seen as little as like 3 months before you can, start out as a secretary, but then move over to a coding position if they see that you've got a lot of initiative. So the other thing is you have to check the hospital websites directly. Some of these organizations aren't posting externally as much as you might think they are, especially big places where a lot of people are trying to get jobs in the area. They might not waste their time printing things in newspapers and online ads because they know enough people want to come in that they'll just check the hospital website. So it's one thing for me to tell you how to do that, but let me show you actually a demonstration of how to navigate one of the websites for a popular health system that's on the other side of the state from me, okay? Come on. So this is UPMC. They're pretty big over in Western PA, like Pittsburgh area. So when you see their website, look for these sections here that say like careers or jobs or for healthcare professionals. So if I go right here to their careers website, a lot of them, let's see, search. So there's a search here. So you can do a search for a type of job. What I like to do is put in here just CPC, and it will show you any jobs that may have CPC as a criteria. So here, there's several jobs. Certified professional coders, coder 2, they have profi and technical, medical records clerk, so that might be a good one to just kind of get your feet wet in. Medical coding auditor, HIM technician. Another thing you can do is if you just type in here coder, and then search, see it's actually changed. So there's different things for coder versus CPC. So some of the positions have actually changed, like that one for medical records, it looks like it's gone. It doesn't come up under coder, but it comes up under CPC. So those are the two things I would tell you maybe to search under is the word CPC or the word coder. There might be some things on here that aren't applicable, like software engineer, but it's better to weed these things out than to not have enough stuff that you think you could possibly qualify for. Another great website you got to check out is my friends Rich and Mark over at codersdirectcom. Codersdirect.com is amazing because not only can you post your resume so that recruiters can find you, but you can search for jobs that are already open. And you definitely want to get on their email list because they send out all kinds of emails about jobs that are open, and connect with them on LinkedIn, which we'll also talk about. So LinkedIn, I have connected with so many great other professionals over LinkedIn. It is a social media platform for professionals and businesses and entrepreneurs. Now, the cool thing about LinkedIn for coders is that you can connect with a lot of the popular recruiters and see the jobs that they're posting, and sometimes they can help you out. I mean, obviously not immediately. They can't take 60,000 coders and help find them all jobs, but they can help be on the lookout and help keep you, in their files of what you might be looking for and what they might be looking for, and find some matches. So set up a profile on LinkedIn. Highlight things that you've accomplished, certifications you have if you're involved in your chapter membership. Put a nice photo on there. Keep your Snapchat filters off of it. But one thing I always say is, you can take a pretty decent selfie these days, even though you maybe don't have a professional headshot. Go outside in natural daylight, which is really good and flattering for everyone, and either take a nice selfie if you can, or have a friend take a picture of you, maybe like standing up against a tree with just that nice natural sunlight coming down, and post that as your profile picture. It does kind of help more than you might think it would. And then if you do any cool professional business related type stuff, make sure to post it. Like, hey, I went to my AAPC chapter meeting tonight and it was so great to connect with other coders or like-minded individuals, or, any kind of seminars or cool stuff you might even just be participating in, just to show that you're keeping active and educated as a coder. And I'm going to be getting back to that thought about local chapters for AAPC or AHIMA, but first let me go over a couple other things. Another website you can check out is Indeed.com. I would stay away from like the career builders and monster.coms because oftentimes they'll throw you emails about totally unrelated jobs, file clerks, or they'll try to get you into some kind of weird pyramid schemey stuff. So Indeed.com is a little bit more reputable. You can find more jobs that are not as questionable in your area. So with Indeed.com, you can search by like a title or a keyword and then a location. So keep it kind of broad at first. Do maybe like a CPC and then try and find jobs in the area. So here, maybe they've got some kind of, maybe this is an ad or something about truck delivery. But now here we've got ED coder, HIM clerk, appeal nurse, healthcare consultant, medical billing and coding. So see, we're finding more applicable stuff. And occasionally they will throw some remote positions at you. Maybe if you even, I think, type in remote. Here we go. Yeah, so here's some remote positions. You can just type in the word remote here and find some remote CPC or some remote, let's see, medical coder positions. Now, if you're going to apply for jobs online, make sure that your resume is updated. So if you can't update it yourself, find someone that can, not me. I mean, I'm going to post a video eventually on how you can update your resume, ideas for updating your resume yourself. I don't do them. And how you can do that online for free and kind of make them look cute and so forth. But I always recommend projectresume.net. Anne over at Project Resume does resumes just for medical coders. So she's very good at what she does. So if you're looking for a resource for that, definitely check out Project Resume. I'll link them below as well. Another great tip is if you are in a program like through a school that offers an internship or externship, take it. Don't skip it if it's voluntary, absolutely, because that is how you get the experience and have things to throw on your resume to show that you know what you're talking about. You can also potentially find an externship site through AAPC if you're a member through their Project Extern website. The only prerequisites of the Project Extern are that you have to be a current member of the AAPC, hold an active AAPC credential, and you want to learn and benefit from new ways and techniques for coding. The AAPC also does have a mentorship program you can look into if you're someone that is looking for that sort of relationship. I will caution you, this is truly more of a coaching and personal development thing. It is not a free consultant service, so don't be expecting that you're going to get paired up with someone who's going to code your hard cases for you. Now, I say this all the time. Medical coding is not about knowing all of the answers. It is about knowing where to find them. And where you find the answer to how to get a job is by getting to your local chapter. Now, I'm an AAPC guru, but this does apply to your AHEMA chapters as well. So these are the people that are already in the industry. They know what works and what doesn't work. They also have jobs, probably in the local areas that have positions open or might be opening. So they know who's going to retire soon that's going to leave an opening. They know what's budgeted if they're going to be hiring coders soon. They know what the boss is looking for, what might pique their interest on a resume, how you could maybe tweak some things to make sure that you're highlighting the things that they're looking for out in the coding industry. And some of them probably also are working remotely and know when those remote jobs are going to be getting openings. So get out there, get to your local chapter, introduce yourself to people, and let your passion shine. Say, I love medical coding. I cannot wait until I get a medical coding job. Do you happen to know of anything open? No, don't go crazy. Don't start texting people and all that kind of stuff, 100 times a day, hey, did you get my resume? And remember me, I'm looking for a medical coding job, But, let people know that this is something you're really passionate about, that you made the right decision, but gosh, you're just waiting for that opportunity. For the most part, coders remember what it was like when they were trying to wait for their first break. I still, to this day, remember when I took my CPC exam, I didn't have any close by local chapters. I actually had to sleep in a hotel across from Hershey Medical Center, which is about an hour and a half away from me. And I was so excited going into my CPC exam. I stayed at the hotel right across from the Junker Auditorium where I was taking my exam. And I was singing the song to Mary Tyler Moore as I was going, I'm gonna make it after all. And I was so excited, and I just remember the exuberance when I found out that I passed my CPC exam. I screamed across the entire central billing office. So, we have to harness that and really embrace and help out our new coders and try to get them a place in the industry. I hope you found this video helpful, and if you have any other great tips for finding coding jobs, leave them in my comment section so that other coders can come and see them. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big like, a big thumbs up, because what that does is it helps the YouTube algorithm so that it boosts the video up in the rankings and more people can find it and be helped out. And don't forget to subscribe so that you don't miss any more of these helpful videos. I'll see you in the next video, but for now, just keep on coding on.